everybody, Doofus Bob here. This is video 2, episode 2 I should call it, and we're going to talk about sealing the polystyrene that I used to make my spaceport, or at least the base layer here. And I mentioned in my first video that you're going to make mistakes, and that's perfectly fine. Learn from them. Don't be afraid to make them. And I'm going to point out all my mistakes and how I'm going to learn from them and what I did to fix them. It's okay. That's life. If you're not making mistakes, well, then you're not doing something. You're probably just sitting around watching TV. So this is video 2 that originally was made in November of 2024. But what I did is I was using my iPhone and I made 6 or 7, maybe 8 videos. Didn't upload them all. When I uploaded them and then had tried to upload them up to YouTube, videos 1 and 2 were completely corrupted. In fact, of video 2, I think only 2 minutes survived, and I had to completely redo it. And I didn't realize any of this until come March, when I got my editor, who I'm going to call it Donut from here on. When I gave them all the donut, or tried to give it to them, and told them to start the YouTube channel stuff, they were all corrupted. So, today, remaking video 2, and we will, once we're done, we might have 2 or 3 videos. You won't know that. You'll see the one video. Well, we will upload them right away. Now, here's the funny thing. Okay, why we call it Doofus Bob. I just made this video about 45 minutes ago, and when I looked at it, there was no sound. I forgot to turn the microphone on the camera on. See, that's what I'm talking about. So this is actually the 3rd remake. So, here we go. 3rd time. And, you know, it's too bad because it was a pretty good video. I just made it 45 minutes ago. And I even painted some stuff onto the styrofoam here, but you know what? I'll redo it. It's not a big deal. I didn't have too much else planned for today anyway. Star Trek Strange New Worlds episode 1 and 2 dropped a couple days ago, so that's what I'm going to watch today on my home theater system. Okay, so let's talk about this stuff here. This is extruded polystyrene. It's the same chemical composition as the styrofoam that you see in, packaging material, the white stuff with the little balls. It looks like it's compressed together. Well, that's exactly what it is. They put it into a mold, they heat it up, and they push it together, and it forms and it stays. This is the extruded version of that. It's much finer. It's a bit more sturdy, and it doesn't quite break apart as easily. So, before we start painting on this stuff or doing stuff to it, we need to seal the surface. Why? Polyvinyl styrene will dissolve under certain solvents. And if I just grab spray paint, even latex spray paint, all spray paints have propellant in there. And that propellant will start to dissolve this material. You can do polyurethane, but even polyurethane has a propellant that might dissolve it. There's different kinds out there now. So what you want to do is grab a spare piece that you have and just take it and spray it. Generally keep about 18 inches to 2 feet away. When you get closer than a foot, spray it, give it a good covering, and see if it starts to eat through. Don't throw away any leftover pieces that you have. It's great for that, okay? You'll notice, real quick, that this is much brighter than my last video. Well, I bought some lights. If it's too bright, somebody say something. So polyurethane and polystyrene get along fairly well. Um, the solvents and other paints and sprays do not. You'll just have to test it out and see. But this is why we're going to seal it first. They got Mod Podge here and Elmer's glue, which is polyvinyl acetate. Polyvinyl acetate and polyvinyl styrene. They don't mind each other. That's fine. They'll stick to each other. They like each other. It's not going to dissolve. This is a gallon of Elmer's glue. I got this at the hardware store, 20 bucks. Amazon, anywhere from 15 to 25, tariffs and current economical situations depending. Mod Podge, the same size, is going to be probably $40 or more. Maybe up to 50 or 60, just depending on where you are. I'm in the Midwest of the United States. I know that if I go to Florida, because I have family down there, and if I go to buy this is a 8-ounce container of Mod Podge. I think this was, is there a price tag on here? I want to say it was like $4 maybe here. This same one down there was $6. So depending on where you're in the country, prices can vary. This stuff is good. This is great stuff. It's a water-based glue, sealer, and finish all in one. You can use this to seal the polystyrene. You can dilute this with some water and then put in a spray bottle and spray down, like if you're putting gravel down for like a battlefield terrain or something and you want it to stay there. You know, I've got a paper barricade here that I bought online. You put it together. If I put that there and I don't want it to move, you know, then I can put some Mod Podge down and put that there. It's thin enough to where it doesn't clump. It'll seal, it'll stick, and that won't move. It's great. However, it ain't cheap. Like I said, I mean, if you can find the gallon size in your city or town, that's great. If you can't, you have to go to Amazon, and now you're paying 50 bucks. Because of just the sheer weight of a gallon of anything coming from Amazon, it gets pricey. If you don't have Prime, you're going to pay a lot in shipping. So, case in point, if you bought a 12-pack of soda pop down the street, let's say it's $7. On Amazon, it could be as much as 15 because shipping weight. I know about shipping weight. Among the many tasks at my job, I'm also ship hazardous chemicals. It's very expensive. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. There's different mixes and ratios for this. I generally will pour some glue into a container and then add some water to it. Okay, I don't want it, if you keep it too thick, you're the one that's painting it on here. So how much you want to fight with it, that's up to you. I thin it out enough to be able to spread it. Okay? So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you what I mean. So this was, I'd say about 75% glue and 25% water. So, this one is, like I said, it's about 25%. Let me grab a clean spoon. 25% water, 75% glue. It's got a fairly decent consistency here. You see it's coating it. It's coating the glass a little bit. You see that? There you go. See? We'll put that aside. We'll get some on here. And we'll just start putting this on here. Get this guy out the way. I got some writing on here in permanent marker, and you can see how well you can still see through it. So you just put one layer on. See how it's pulling away a little bit? That's okay. We'll do another coat. If I make this thicker, then you won't have that. The thicker you get, the more difficult it is to put on. So what I do is I start with maybe a 75-25, maybe even a 50-50, and just give it a good coat. Then I'll add more glue to it and do another coat so it's thicker and covers better. So, the second video that got corrupted, what you didn't see. So this part here, you see with all the craters, it's not covering well. This is just exposed polystyrene here and here. That was 50-50. This was a little bit more glue, and then this was a little bit more glue. So you see, even at 75-25, it's still pulling away a little bit. It's okay. When this dries, it's almost paper thin because it's going to level out. So we're going to put another layer on here. So then to this mixture, what I did is I added some acrylic paint. Okay, you can get any brand. For the base layer, I would not spend like money on premium paint. Premium paint, smaller bottles, very expensive. You want to save that for the final touches with a small brush along your other stuff, like in the background here, which we haven't gotten to yet. But that comes up as probably video 10 to 20, which, like I said, 8 videos are made. This is episode 2. So what I did is I took about an ounce or two and added it to my glue and water mixture. And then I just started putting that on, right? Now, the added acrylic, polystyrene, and PVA go well together if you're going to mix it. Look at that nice coverage we got there. Okay, so we're going to let this dry probably a few hours. I got some other things to do. So this is a good little video, probably about 15 minutes. And we'll let it dry. And then I will show you how I got, so this is the tarmac like material feel that I wanted. Can you hear that? As opposed to this right here. Very smooth, shiny, somewhat rough, kind of like fine sandpaper. Here's why I did that. I wanted this spaceport to have a tarmac, and I wanted a tarmac to have kind of a tarmac feel. Now, what's on here is this mix that I did with a little bit of fine sand. I'm going to show you how I made that and how I put it on. It's just, I think there's about 2 layers of it on here, and it's not done. All this is modular, okay? I can take everything you see here off and just be left with the styrofoam. Nothing's glued to it, nothing's screwed into it, because I want to be able to take this apart. If I ever move or want to take it somewhere and display it, it's easy just to pull everything off. I've done it several times. Takes about 5-10 minutes. Put everything in the bags and boxes, move it someplace, and then it takes about 20-30 minutes to put it back together. I like to be modular. If you're building something that's going to just sit where it is, that's by all means go ahead and do it. Glue it down if you want to. Maybe keep the kids from playing with it.
Many hours later.
Okay, everybody. As you can see, it's dry. It's been about 2 hours. So now, and you see there's a little wet spot here. That was a nice thick glob that was left behind. We'll just smooth it out and it'll dry on its own later. There's a splotch that we had. So, I don't know if you can tell on here. You see these splotches over here, like right over there and right over there. Okay, if the mixed in paint had been splotchy like this, you would have seen little pink areas where it wasn't covered, and those are areas that the glue did not reach. Okay, maybe it pulled and moved away as you saw it was doing. So what we're going to do is this covered pretty well. And I'm pretty happy with that. You can see some of the pink coming through. And this is why I mentioned you're going to do another layer. So I'm going to move ahead and show you this. So we're going to take some of the black that we had left over. Okay, we'll stir it up. Make sure we're nicely in frame here. There we go. That's better. Okay, and I'm gonna put about not that much in there because I'm just doing a demonstration here. Okay, we'll put that over here for a minute. Got a nice clean spoon. Okay, now this right here is fine sand or dried clay material. The difference between fine sand and regular sand, you know, if you really, it's just a smaller grade of particles, right? So we don't want like gravel for this. This is a tarmac. So we want it to be kind of smoothish looking, yet feelish, kind of rough, like fine sandpaper. So I tried a few different ways of doing this. Like, you know, you can get the sandpaper like I mentioned earlier, which would be really expensive, or you can look on YouTube. There's some people out there doing some pretty interesting stuff to kind of get a tarmac look. I just had this stuff laying around. It's you might be able to find fine grade sand at a hobby shop. You can find it on Amazon, definitely. It's a hobby material. You might even be able to try. You could get some gypsum, maybe some drywall, and dissolve that into it as well. It might be a little hard to spread. I haven't tried that, but I'm gonna get this. Wear a dust mask when you're playing with this stuff. Okay, I'm gonna take a spoonful here and add it in there. Maybe another one. Let's see what that gives us. Okay, I'm gonna grab a dirty spoon here and just kind of stir it up here. A little hard to see there. So essentially, we're making something that's going to give us an asphalt-like feel and look. Okay, and that's actually pretty good. I'll leave that. So I'm going to go over this area here and maybe a little bit over here just to give you an idea of what we're trying to accomplish here. You can experiment with how much of this stuff you want to add to it. Okay, I took my brush upstairs and I cleaned it. As you can see, it's got a little bit of in there still. It's okay. I'm gonna get that, and there. You can see it's a little bit harder to spread. It's expected, right? And hopefully you can see the bit grainy looking. That's what we want. That's what I wanted, right? And this is a spaceport. I wanted a tarmac airport landing strip kind of feel and look to it. So this is how I decided to do it. You can see the finished product back here. It did work. Now, eventually, I will go back over this stuff over here, this tarmac, and probably do a little dry brushing. If you don't know what that is, you can look it up, Google it. You just take a dry brush, just a little bit of paint, acrylic paint on there, kind of wipe it off a little bit here, and then go over there and start putting it. Because if you look at roads and tarmacs in general, they're never, perfectly black, are they? It wears down. I'm also going to put maybe some little divots here and there, and maybe some rectangular pieces on there to make it look like it's been repaired and all that good stuff. So we're going to do all that eventually. But so this is actually looking really good. This is better than I did it last time, to be honest. Now you won't be able to feel it through the camera, but hopefully you can see the texture difference there. In fact, if you look over here where the light's reflecting, it kind of gives it a grainy look. And that's all I really wanted to show you. So this is episode 2, and I have episode 3 and 4 is really was again, it was filmed months ago, and it's actually the rest of the actual spaceport being built. So this is kind of a little bridge video between that. You'll see the effects of putting on the sealant, how it looked when it was dried, all the spaces, the second layer, the third layer, and now the rough layer. That's all. That should be it may be a little bit added to episode 2 here, and we'll make an episode 3 and 4. I really took my time with it. Some of those episodes are going to be short, 10-15 minutes, really showing you what I had done. And I'll be honest and say, again, here's a mistake I made. I didn't really show as much as what I'm doing here, the actual painting and putting it on. My editor, Donut, told me later that's what I should have done, but they're already filmed. The spaceport's mainly, about half done. Live and learn. So, but you can look at how it progresses. And when we come back after probably episode 7, maybe 8, then we'll come back to where this currently is now. So when like I said, we'll upload a series of videos, and kind of repeating myself here because I'm thinking as I'm doing this. They're not the greatest. This is the first time I've done something like this, and some of the videos, especially episodes maybe 3, 4, and 5, were filmed using the iPhone. The volume and the audio isn't fantastic. The lighting is probably going to be even worse. But it's okay. This is something I started and then decided to improve upon as I went along. When we come back, and when I say come back, I mean, current day. Those videos were filmed a while back. Probably episode 8 or 9. We will pick up kind of where this is sitting now, in that it's time to start. We're going to work on the second floor over there. Let's see if we can get it. There you go. You can see where right now the E-Wing is sitting, and the Boba Fett ship and the X-Wing. What the plan there is, we need to do something about the second level, in that I don't like the way the floor looks up there. I found some terrain tiles that you can print out, and then we're going to cut those and put them on the foam board, and then glue them on to give it a little bit of textured look. And I think that'll make the second floor better. Then we'll take all the ships off, and we'll probably start painting like the pylons there and stuff, the support structure. Kind of give it a little dirty look, maybe put some grease stains here and there. We'll dry brush the tarmac. We'll start making the landing spots look a little bit more techy. That's some more terrain tiles, and I've got a market section over there to the right that you don't see. If you watch the first video, you can see it there. But that's something that we're going to improve on. I may buy some more figures to add to it, and hopefully I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to be like, okay, I've done what I wanted to with this. I may come back to it after a year or two, because I really want to spend the rest of the summer working on this, getting a good feel for it, And then I would really want to move on, take everything I've learned from here, all the mistakes and everything, and move on to the Battle of Hoth. I have a lot of cool stuff for that. I bought a whole lot of Star Wars Legion figures. You know, those are only like, maybe like an inch and a half tall, I think, maybe an inch. And I'm going to pair those with the regular size Hasbro Imperial stuff to kind of give it that, that mighty Imperial machine look, small people with gigantic machines and stuff, the AT-ATs or the AT-ATs, ATSTs. I got some tanks and E-webs and all that good stuff. And that will be just as big as this. So all this is kind of practicing for that, and we'll probably start that in the fall. Uh, it'll make because I started working on this last winter, and it was a great thing to do. And I'd like to do that again, to have something to do during winter. Again, I'm in the Midwest here, and the winters here, especially last winter, was just cold and nasty. I didn't leave the house much. So, okay, so check out the next 3 or 4 videos. Those were filmed back in January and February, maybe some December, and it'll kind of show you the stages of how we built up this spaceport. All right, everybody have fun, stay safe out there, and stay out of politics. It's pretty nasty out there. See you. Bye, everybody.